Going to go for two here.
He's going for two.
If you don't make this, you lose. If you make it, you're in a position to win.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it. That's just a heck of a play.
Going to go for two here. For two here. Go for two here.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it.
All right, welcome in. Going for two, presented by Toboggan Brewing Company down there on Richmond Street. Check it out. Chad's wearing the sweater of what it used to be called. Everybody knows Jim Bob's. We got a lot to talk about today, boys. We had the NFL feels like no matter what, there's no off season. We had a whole list of stuff to talk about. We had to cut stuff off the NFL off season. Tom Wilson decided to get a little dirty. Bryson DeChambeau had a hell of a weekend. No, let's dive right in because the biggest story is Dak Prescott. Did you guys think that he was gonna
money dance?
Yeah. Did you think he was gonna get paid this early?
No.
Happened a hell of a lot faster than I thought it was going to happen. Jerry
Right.
holds out. I thought he was going to really, give him the gears here.
He got the dollar amount I thought he was going to get. Like, we've been talking about it for months. I said he was going to get 40.
Mhm.
I was actually shocked he didn't get more, realistically. But the guaranteed money is the big one. He got 120 guaranteed.
Yeah.
126. Romo only
126.
Romo only made 124 there his entire career.
Yeah, but Romo's. I won't finish that sentence.
Yeah.
He's not going to get a gold jacket. That's all we're going to say. I'm not saying Dak will either.
Whoa.
Unless he
you saying
pays-
Dak's going to get a
unless he
gold
pays
jacket?
for
Are you
it.
calling it right now?
No, I just didn't want to say what I wanted to say.
Yeah. Well, the Prescott deal, like the biggest shock to me, the thing that stood out to me was he's going to make double the amount of guaranteed money over the next 3 years than Patrick Mahomes.
Wait, say that one more time to me. Oh, because
He-
Patty's still on the. Yeah, okay.
Patty put it all in the back end.
Yeah.
So, but over the next 3 years, he's going to make double the amount of guaranteed money.
He's getting 75 this year.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, Pat's like still got like the rookie deal, right? He's still got 2 years on that, and that's why the Chiefs can do what they could do right now. As far as
I think it's just the way that they structured it. But
Well, it's
I mean,
over
when it
10
comes-
years. Dak's over 4.
yeah, that's true
It's a
too.
big
That- yeah.
difference.
Yeah, that's true too. And the guaranteed money. I mean, Mahomes is probably not in any risk of losing his spot. If anything, it guarantees him where he's going to be for the next 6-7 years because all of his guaranteed money is on the back end. The
Mhm.
Chiefs aren't going to benefit anything from cutting him or moving on from him. I mean, they're just going to continue to restructure him. It's going to be like what Ben Roethlisberger is a good example because that's and Drew Brees because all the Saints and Steelers do is kick their money down the road, and now they have to. I mean, now they have to pay the piper, but we'll get into that.
Which is the rumor as to why Breeze hasn't retired yet, is that they're talking about a post-June cut. And so he's maybe doing as a post-June retirement, potentially, to save them some cap spread.
Well, they can't afford it. I mean, the guy's going to be on the hook for like $30 million this year, right?
It's fucking insane. And they just had a franchise tag somebody today.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, if you believe what was coming out yesterday, Jerry Jones has some kind of inside scoop on what the salary cap's actually going to be, and that's
That's what I
why
heard.
yeah. So maybe some of these teams that are panic cutting players are going to be in a little bit of trouble for doing so, and maybe there is something about the cap where it's just not going to be whatever it is, 181. Maybe it's going to be in the 200s.
Well, they said
Maybe
it's the last year of the TV deal this year. That's the big reason why they're kind of like stressing with the cap and they're kind of stretching out that money because they know it's coming. They don't know how much.
Right. And I guess they would have to rework all the TV deals, right? With the extra regular season game and potentially putting Thursday Night Football on Amazon, which would be, I don't know, I'm cool with that. I have Amazon Prime. I'm cool.
Well, the amount of money Amazon's going to pay. Now,
Yeah.
are you cool listening to Andrea Kramer and the other person on Amazon?
Is that who it would be?
No,
I have no
they-
idea.
Yeah.
They said they would make their own squad. It'd be somebody completely new. And it was
That's
like
who's on
shortly
Amazon
after-
right now is the 2 females.
Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
they were.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it's going to be all
Yo,
new
the
blood.
day after Amazon International Women's Day, Kaylin, you're going to just drop that bomb on everybody?
Doesn't mean there's not going to be a woman there. I'm not saying anything about that.
Yeah.
But,
Come on,
I think
Kaylin.
that's where Rich Gannon could really end up personally. I think that's a really good spot for him.
That'd be interesting. I mean, I'm sure that the guys at Amazon don't know who Rich Gannon is, so I don't think that they care. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy what the Cowboys did. I understand why they did it. If they were gonna pony up this money, they should have just done it last year. And
They could have did it 2 years ago. It would have been $30 million.
yeah, and somehow his overall cap hit is less than what it would have been if he was tagged for a second time. So I guess they saved themselves a little bit of money by signing him. And what else are you gonna do? But I was surprised it came out this early. Good for them for getting it out of the way. It's not a very Jerry Jones move to do something like this, so he must have something else up his sleeve. But
what was their other option?
well,
Like, you're not going to get one of the guys in the draft.
Sure, for sure. And
there's no other free agent worthwhile. You can't find a better free agent than Dak Prescott. Like, is he a top 5 quarterback? Probably not. But 6 to 10, I'd say he's in that 6 to 8 range.
Yeah.
And that's
it'd be easy to make a case saying he's top 5.
Yeah. But like depends like who you're gonna put him. You're not putting him ahead of Patrick Mahomes.
No.
Not put him ahead of Aaron Rodgers.
Probably not.
You're gonna put him ahead of Tom Brady?
Are you?
He's only squeaking in there maybe because Breeze is retired.
Yeah, are you?
I'm not.
Okay, so that's 3. Did you put him ahead of Russell Wilson?
No.
Okay, so now his only shot is 5. Is there a quarterback out there that's better?
Honestly, I can't believe I'm going to say this, and Kalen, cover your ears. I think Ryan Tannehill's better than Dak Prescott.
Holy shit! I didn't think you were going there with it, but I'll take
Whoa.
it. I'll take Ryan. 2 trill Tannehill. Yeah.
I've ripped on that guy for years, and I think he's definitely a top 5, top 6 quarterback in this league.
Oh, this year we'll have to see.
Interesting.
I mean, I just jinxed it for Kalen, but
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Well, yeah, you fuck us. Yeah, we can't talk highly about anybody because now they're just gonna be horrible.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you know that the Leafs haven't won a game since I said they were the best team in the league, right?
ew.
Keep saying it, Shane. I love hearing it. One more
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's like the Devils are going to the Cup, right? But yeah, I don't know. I whether you want to put him top 5, put him top 10, he's absolutely the best quarterback that could be
Available.
in Dallas. Yeah, like, and that's kind of what you're getting. You're not gonna trade a whole bunch of picks for Russell Wilson when you have a guy like Dak Prescott, because maybe they're a little bit closer in skill sets than people would want to give it credit for.
And I forgot about Deshaun Watson. He's there too.
Does Deshaun Watson count? Like, does he count now that he's being a bitch like this?
Well, Russell's being a bitch
It's
too.
still
and I let him in there,
Deshaun.
so.
Well, it just doesn't seem like I think Russell's being a bitch because he's letting his wife run his life like that, but or one of his agents or whatever the case is. But
Team 3.
Yeah, I don't see it as like the Deshaun Watson thing is just like, no, I'm taking my ball. I'm going home. I'm not interested.
I don't know.
That's
It
kind
seems
of
like he was probably promised a few things. We don't know what was actually said in the background, right?
yeah. Well, whatever. I mean, let's go from one like stupid thing to another stupid thing. Like, what are the Titans doing getting rid of Isaiah Wilson already? What happened? What happened?
I'm so happy with it. I'm actually so
happened?
happy with it, Shane. The guy played 4 snaps. What happened was he got in trouble with the law 3 times in the offseason before training camp even started, and then got his ass landed on the COVID list twice after the season started. He played 4 snaps, one of which was a special teams, and he got absolutely run the hell over by a tight end.
That sounds like bad scouting. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you,
Poor leadership.
The red flags. There was red flags coming out of college about some things like this that had potentially happened, and he had done like. There's a story that he actually had said in a podcast where a coach who was recruiting him going into college didn't shake his hand or didn't walk into his house or something. Oh, didn't take his shoes off when he came into his house. And
Disrespectful.
And basically said, I'm not going to go to that guy. And it was, I can't remember who it was, but it was a top tier team too.
It wasn't Georgia because he went to Georgia.
But Georgia's not really a top tier team. I guess they're okay in the SEC, but
Whoa!
Stop.
Come on, Caleb. Come on. Hook 'em horns over there. This guy's hanging out with Matthew McConaughey. He's
Yeah.
worried about the Georgia Bulldogs. Give me a break.
They're in the top 10 every year.
Yeah.
Stop it.
They were in the Natty a couple years ago, man.
whatever. I'm just gonna keep.
The
Whatever,
way you're
man.
sitting in your chair, you should go have some more. For the comment. Right
Yeah. This guy, this guy is Matthew McConaughey, and what's that movie? Dazed and Confused.
Confused. Yeah, he's just confused. Just confused.
Yeah. Well,
Regardless, I'm happy with the trade. Like I said, guys, we coming into the season, he messed up a lot. I was pissed off with it. I thought he was the answer. He screwed up. He lost his spot to a backup left tackle who moved to right. So
ultimate, you got a 7th round pick out of it, so you're gonna draft a guy that's gonna end up on your practice squad for 3 years. So that's sick.
there it is.
So, but is it worth giving up on this kid yet? I'm being devil's advocate here because the talent was there.
So 2 weeks after he got put on the non-football injury list and was basically sent home away from the team, 2 weeks after he was on Instagram putting up videos with him and known LA hookers on a boat in the canals, throwing money all over the place, hanging out with a CEO of a guy who does an entertainment business hired to do sets like this, like that video. And it wasn't the first, and it wasn't the last. I did it a few more times after that. Now, you guys are going to laugh and say he's living the life and having a great time, but that's 2 weeks after he was basically sent away from his professional football team for not showing up after getting his ass canned by a tight end. So I'm sorry, man. Maybe the talent's there. The mental capacity isn't. He showed up incredibly overweight, so the work ethic isn't there either to me. I just think that there was so many missteps the entire way, and now he gets to go to Miami where it's all about the nightlife, and we'll see if his rap career takes off because apparently that's one of the other things he's been looking into doing here early in the offseason. So, yeah, a whole lot of amazing things are going to happen for Isaiah Wilson. I thought he was going to be a great answer for us at right tackle when Conklin left, but brutal.
So Miami just got richer is all I got from that whole thing. They just got their left tackle for Tua.
Yeah, they just got their left tackle of the future. The guy's going to the Pro Bowl, guaranteed, 100%.
Yeah.
He might even. I mean, is it too early to fit him for his gold jacket?
I already gave one away, I guess, according to Kalen. So what's one
Yeah,
more
let's just start
today?
Yeah, let's just start passing them out. So that's all right. Well, what about Zach Ertz? Have you guys heard that Zach Ertz is? But like, I heard the move is just. I mean, it's just going to happen in the next couple of days here.
Or did they just say it was going to happen?
I think that it was just poor treatment, and they really handled him poorly during the season with his injury, withholding like some kind of training or rehabbing, not trying to get him back on the field as fast as possible. I think he's going to the Colts.
Fuck you.
Yeah, like that's going to suck for you, Caleb, but I mean that's just the logical landing spot. His old offensive coordinator is there.
Where he flourished.
They're not going to double dip the well and trade to the Colts again.
I think so, man. Why would it? Like, what difference does it make? It's not like the Eagles are going to be in the Super Bowl anytime soon.
Yeah,
that's the only time they're going to have to worry about the Colts.
No. They got enough there. They got Jack Doyle. They don't need Zach Ertz and his hefty contract.
Yeah, but
they need a receiver. What the Colts need more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
I'm actually shocked they didn't make a bid to go after Robinson. I know he got tagged, but he could have went. Could you imagine if that guy would have ended up there in Indy? I know Kalen would have been so upset.
You know the name that I heard today?
In my division. I was done with that.
I heard this name today, Kalen. Hold on to your chair, buddy.
Johnny Smith?
Kenny Golladay to the
Colts. To the Colts, I did read that one too.
Yeah, him and Robinson were the two favorites to go there. Then Robinson got tagged.
Yeah. They're bringing in Kenny Golladay. They're bringing in Zach Ertz. I mean, who else? I think that the Colts might be this year's version of the Bucks.
You have to, right? Well, Godwin got tagged, so they can't bring him in.
Find something to sit on and turn, Shane. Honestly, man. Brutal.
Find me something big enough and I will. What about we'll lay off the Titans for a few minutes here. The Raiders. The Raiders they've been cutting people. They just traded Trent Brown today. You were saying earlier that you don't know if it's Gruden or Mayock or just the fact that the Raiders have always been a shitty organization.
Yeah, they've been pretty shitty for a long time now. But yeah, like just look at
all the above.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
You got the AB trade, which was only a 5th rounder. I mean, it's not a lot, but and nobody really knew he was going to do what he did. But yeah, the AB trade. You took Cleveland Farrell at 4, which is an absolute shock to everybody, and that really hasn't panned out. Max Crosby has been okay though, so that's kind of offset it. But he was a 4th round pick.
That guy's got double digits every year. He's
I know.
3rd round
As a
pick,
4th round pick, yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty friggin' good. But then you look at his first year free agent signings, which is when he got hired. Like that was the splash that Mayock and Gruden brought to that team, was all these free agents additions that they brought in. We talked about Trent Brown being traded there, and he was overpaid too. He got his 1-year deal off of, or his 4-year deal off of playing 1 solid year over in New England. So that's why he's all excited to get back there. Then you had Lamarcus Joyner, who was a 5'9". They tried to make him into a free safety and move him back down into the slot corner, which I think was an absolute mistake. And they overpaid for him and cut him. Tyrell Williams, you couldn't anticipate injuries, but he didn't really play for you well, and he was overpaid and cut as a result. So there's a lot of misses there. And some people have been saying that like Gruden is somebody that falls in love with vets. He chases vets as much as he chases them off his team. He chases to have them on his team. And as a result, vets demand a lot of money. And that unfortunately hamstrings your team. And Gruden, like I just said, he likes to give and take and give and take. So it doesn't work well when your Mayock is trying to make your 10-year coach happy, fortunately.
Well, sorry, go ahead, Shane.
Does Gruden chase vets more than Isaiah Wilson chases hookers?
I don't know. I mean, I bet you if you went on his Instagram right now, there'd be a video of him hanging out with the hookers on a boat somewhere.
Hey, that's
Jeez.
someone's daughter. She's a nice lady.
And I'm sure Isaiah Wilson is.
I don't know. That's the reason
drinking
she is a
toboggan
hooker,
beer.
because she's not someone's daughter.
Oh God!
Wow.
Yikes! Yikes! Moving on. I think Kalen just got us canceled. What else were you saying? What were you gonna say, Chad?
Not that. No, but like Gruden was in Tampa. He took over a veteran team. And the problem is with Gruden, he's an old school guy. He didn't coach for, was it 10 years, 12 years?
Something like that.
That's like 2 generations of football players that he just missed. The game has changed. The kids have changed. I coach now and I don't understand it. Now, how's a guy who's a generation above us supposed to understand it? Like his whole thing was knock if you're with me. That doesn't work with an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, I go in their case, like 22-year-olds, whatever they are. But like you bring in these vets and like you're a joke. And your first season there, you go on what's it called, Hard Knocks. You bring in the sideshow that was Antonio Brown. Worked out well for me.
Kind of for us too, honestly.
What's that? Worked out for you too, yeah.
Worked out for the Steelers too.
Mayock did his thing, and Mayock's a scout. That's what he does. Like he brings in young talent. That's who he is. I just don't think Gruden ever knew how to use it because he actually doesn't like rookies. He's come out and said numerous times he will never draft a rookie quarterback. He will never bring a young quarterback in. That's not his style. His verbiage is a fucking paragraph. You can't give that to these young kids anymore. And they're just not responding to him, and they're not. Unfortunately, the Raiders were in bed with him for 10 years, and there's like 7 or 6 years left. I think Mayock was the right answer. I don't think Gruden was.
Well, and when these guys that they're drafting, they're thinking of John Gruden. Like they don't think of John Gruden the same way that we do. Like I see him going crazy on the Raiders sideline. These guys see him sitting in a fucking trailer for Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And you get all these goofy little like Gruden Telegram things where he's doing all this stuff with his hands. Like, yeah, it might be funny to see that on TV. It might be funny to be the guy in the trailer with Gruden because he's not your coach. You're just having fun. But that guy being your coach, I think that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And as
the guy got as long a contract to be a coach as he was out of the league, and I think that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, right. It was a publicity stunt at the end of the day. They needed someone. They needed a coach to make a splash when they're moving, and it worked. But unfortunately, now it's overdone with that. It's time to move on. There's so many great young coaches they could be going after that are just as big names as John Gruden, and they can do so much more with them. And it's just the Raiders thing to do, though. That's what they do, right?
Yeah. And it's crazy.
Like, I make fun of the Leafs all the time, and I think the Raiders are the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Of the NFL.
Right.
Shane, you were talking about.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you were talking about how it was just like Gruden. You picture Gruden running up and on the sideline, and these kids picture him like on TV, and it's. I got to be honest, man. It feels like it's forever ago that I picture him on the sideline before the Raiders organization. Like I almost feel like those kids coming in the league, and I just picture Gruden on Monday Night Football or doing his Gruden grinders or whatever it is. I barely remember him as a coach outside of the fact that he had that championship and was referred to as Chucky. But like, if it wasn't for Ricky being a fan of the Raiders, I don't think I'd even remember him as a coach.
Yeah, like I didn't know that Kalen had a grinder account to look up John Gruden, but
Jesus.
when when it comes down to it, like the Raiders were always a sideshow because they had Al Davis, who was super involved in the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happened in the organization without his say, and he would get really hands-on about the players that they bring in. And that's how they ended up with a guy like Janikowski in the first round, and and they picked Mike Mitchell in the first round, which the guy played in the league for a long time, but like, give me a break.
Do you remember when he was drafted and Mayock was on TV and he couldn't even finish? He had to go to a commercial break. The guy who knows everything about every player had to go to a commercial break and get info during the commercial break to talk about him.
I still remember when the Jags drafted Unger and Mayock said, "What?" And I won't finish the rest of it. And then Rich Eisen cut him off instantly and said, "Stop it. He is a weapon."
Yeah. That was probably Mayock's right spot where he was on the NFL Network. I'm not saying he's doing a bad job as a GM because you probably need to give him another year and a half before you can actually make that assessment because they are trying to rebuild something. But
they're cutting their mistakes. We can see he's doing that.
Sure. Well, they have to. And what it comes down to is when the Raiders go 7 I guess they're playing 17 games this year. When they go 7-10 this year, are they gonna try and move on from Gruden? Like, will Mayock make that call? Can he make that call?
I don't know. He's gonna have a few steak dinners with old Davis or young Davis now, I guess, if he's gonna be able to make that call.
Right. Well, we'll see, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on because we had some pretty crazy stuff happen in hockey this week too, and the big story in hockey was Tom Wilson.
The guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I already knew your opinion. I already knew your opinion of him, Chad. Just as soon as I saw the hit, I was like, I wonder what Chad's gonna say about this guy. And the first thing that came to mind was like, Chad's gonna call him a piece of shit or a dirtbag. But Kale, like, did you see the hit? Like, what do you think?
Classic Tom Wilson. I think he plays sometimes a little too hard, and it was intent to injure. There's no doubt about it. I don't know how he's going to try and argue his way out of that. He might as well just hide himself in a closet for the rest of the year.
The worst part is he had two hits on that shift that were good hits.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they were good hockey plays. Everyone's like, oh, he went after him after that guy's hit. That was a clean hit. I had no problem with that one.
Yeah, right.
But that shit in the boards, like, you had a shot at his shoulder and you didn't take it. You intended to hurt somebody. You are a piece of shit. It's that simple.
Was 7 games enough?
No, because he's a fucking 17-time offender.
Yeah. He has been in trouble a lot. And with a condensed season, they always talk about, like, how is 7 games actually 7 games, or is it like 1.5 games for every game you lose kind of thing? That was some argument I heard. I think that was just some Tom Wilson apologist, if anything.
Well,
the
problem is there's no one to fucking take care of that shit no more. He knew for a fact when he did that, no one's going to touch me. Char is on my bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's no repercussions. There's no one on Boston that's going to take care of business, and he knew that.
Well, yeah, and the biggest problem that I have with the suspension is I don't believe that what I'm going to say is something that they could actually do, but for Carlo, he's out for indefinitely. They don't know when he's going to be back. Why can Tom Wilson do that and come back into the game before he can? Like,
it's true. It's a valid argument.
You should be suspended for the length of the injury. If you injure somebody and they're out for the season because of a dirty play, sorry about your luck, pal. You're out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had no intent of not hitting him in the head.
Yeah.
And that guy's
head a dirty play.
Bounced off the fucking glass. And then, I don't know who it was. Someone cross-checked the kid when he was down and dropped his head back on the ice again, and that guy got nothing.
Yeah. But hockey is a violent sport, and I am not one to apologize for violent sports. But when it's blatant dirtiness, yeah, there's no reason for this guy to be continuing to play through it when Carlo, I mean, maybe he's out for 2 weeks, a month, maybe he's back for the playoffs, but the Capitals are going to lose 7 games, which nowadays is 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, give me a break. That's not a punishment.
The problem I have with more than any of this, and obviously is the suspension's a joke. But not one person on Boston did one thing about it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you really watched him run this kid's head off the boards and someone put him in a bulldog, like that was your retaliation, I'm sorry. I have no respect for anybody that was on the ice at that time on Boston either, because they didn't do nothing to help their teammate. They pretty much just snuggled Tom Wilson until he went to the ground.
Right.
You did that shit 10 years ago, Tom Wilson's leaving a stretcher. It's that simple. And does violence should leave hockey? Maybe. But that's not okay. Like, where's the respect in the locker room?
Yeah. Somebody should have Dudley brothered him.
It's one for one. You want to run my teammate? Cool. Guess what? You got some superstars on your team. I have no problem running them either.
Yeah.
That's my mindset.
Right.
It's an eye for an eye.
And the next time that Boston plays Washington, like, what kind of repercussions are there going to be?
Oh, you just bring up the AHL. It's that simple.
Well,
same shit. Detroit, Colorado, back in the 90s. You bring up the AHL. It's that simple.
And from the last show, Kayla, we were talking about the playoff format, and we were talking about how we thought things were going to be a little bit rougher and whatnot. But for the playoff, I looked into it, so I actually have it written down here for you. So
you're right, yeah.
The top 4 teams from each division are going to play each other, and then they're going to play a finals for each division, kind of like a March Madness style, like you win your region, you go on to the Final Four, yeah. And then they're going to rank the 4 winners of each division into 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's how they're going to decide who's in the semis and then who goes to the cup.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes the most sense. There's no reason for you to cross over a series until at that point, if you're going to stay in your division the whole time. That makes the most sense to me too.
Mm-hmm. To make for some pretty chippy playoffs, man.
Yeah, well, and the reason that I researched is, I don't know if you guys were watching much hockey on Saturday night. I know that you guys are more UFC guys, but the best fight that I saw on Saturday night was Lucic and Nurse. They were throwing shots at each other.
So I watched the fight. You told me, like, you messaged me like, Chad, go watch this fight.
Yeah.
I think Nurse was doing okay until he got hit. I don't think he was ready for Lucic's power, because he was out there with the jabs, jabbing with his own shirt, keeping that distance. And Lucic caught him one time, like, didn't rock him, did nothing. But I don't think Nurse ever been hit because he's so long.
Yeah.
I've watched that kid since the OHL fight people. He used to beat the shit out of kids on London all the time.
Do you think that they had some beef going back to their playing days together at all? Like, was there any animosity there or not? I mean, it's nice to see Lucic can actually do something to produce for a team still. He hasn't done really anything since he left Boston. But, yeah, do you think there's any animosity there between the two of them?
I think they just wanted to do it. I think Nurse wanted to earn some stripes.
I think Lucic had, I got to prove that I'm still capable of doing something for a team. But yeah, I think Nurse would just join in. What? I don't like Lucic. I think he's a friggin' bum.
Yeah.
Like, I think the guy had a specific role he played in Boston, and I think he chased crazy money to Edmonton. It was a fucking joke there, and has done nothing in Calgary. No, he went to Edmonton first.
No, I know. Yeah. But yeah, he's on. He's on. And I have no problem with it. I think that what those guys were doing were reigniting the Battle of Alberta.
They needed it.
And they absolutely needed it. And Edmonton doesn't need to be scrappy to make the playoffs. They're going to be in. I mean, they're one of the top 2 teams in the Canadian division. But a team like Calgary, they need a guy like Lucic to step up and do that for them, because he can take care of that role, and a couple of these guys can pop some pucks in the net. No problem. I mean, they've sucked since, but
I've got no faith in that team. They hired Daryl Sutter as being their bench boss again. That's ridiculous. It's like 4
But
times something like that.
by far, they have the best Canadian hockey uniforms when they wear the all orange with the orange pants and the orange. Like
Yeah.
those things are sick. The
Ah.
only reason I play the NHL game is to be Calgary with those uniforms on.
Mhm.
That's it.
Their arena, their fan base, like when it's all filled with the sea of red there. It's pretty
Yeah.
fun in general.
Yeah. Have you guys been following what they want to do with the lottery for hockey?
You
Just-
already know the answer is no.
no. I don't. Maybe I don't.
So-
Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
So they're trying to limit it to not being able to win it and try and make it a little bit more of if you are one of the bottom 2 teams, then you're the team that gets the best shot at the first pick, rather than allowing. Yeah, it's
They're
because
just sick and tired of seeing Edmonton win it all the time, even when they should.
yeah, and you're not. Yeah, you can only win it twice in 5 years, and
Oh my god.
none of it's official. I was just listening to. I was like, you guys know what Overdrive is?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's on TSN. I was listening to Overdrive, and they're talking about it. It's like, isn't that like one of the fun things of hockey? Like, other than the fact, like they play a long season, the first 2 weeks of hockey are great. The last 2 weeks of hockey are great. The middle is filler for whatever we're gonna bet on Cool Bet, because I mean that's really all we do. But that's one of those like Saturdays where I know that I'm gonna tune in and be like, oh, the lottery's on. I'm definitely gonna check that out. I would watch the draft lottery over like the shitty NBA All-Star game that was just on. Like I had it on just to see what the dunk contest was gonna be like. And as soon as
Can't
the
watch
dunk contest was so disappointing. Like a guy won he wore a baby-sized Tracy McGrady jersey and tried to emulate a dunk, and he sucked at it. I don't know. It was garbage. I think that they need to cancel the dunk contest for the next 5 years, come up with some new stuff, and then like fire it back up 5 years from now. That's irrelevant. That's something that we'll talk about. But eliminating something that is entertainment while you're in the entertainment business because a couple of GMs are complaining, I don't understand that. I think that's a bad business move. The NFL would not do this.
No.
Yeah. Like the NFL draft and everything related to the NFL offseason is 100% a carnival show. They put this thing on for everyone's entertainment for us to pay attention to. The NHL is basically saying, yeah, don't worry about our draft. We're good.
Well, I guess the only carnival show that the NHL has is that lottery itself. The draft itself is pretty. The top 5 are the top 5 year in and year out when it comes to NHL. Like that's usually where you're going to get your big bangers for players. I can understand, like from you mentioned, as an entertainment standpoint, for us watching it, that's really fun. And when I've had the chance for my team to win the lottery, it's been pretty fun too. When your team's shitty and they get an opportunity like that, but
They got a strong player out of him too. Yeah.
Yeah. If I was a GM though, I could also at the same time, especially if you're running a team that's, maybe payroll strapped or something like that, always bottom of the barrel. And if you're not getting the opportunity to compete by getting those top 5 players because you're just getting screwed out of a lottery. But I mean, that's the way it's been for I don't know how many years. Like as long as I've been really paying attention, anyway.
Yeah, and the whole idea behind it is to eliminate tanking, because for you to get that, you really have to like tank. But whatever. I was just curious if you guys had heard about it. The when it comes to the trade deadline, because obviously the trade deadline is coming up within, I don't know, maybe the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have Mike on here, but we completely forgot about it. Sorry, Mike. We'll get you next time for sure.
I wonder where when he was getting an invite.
Yeah, no, like we started and then we'll get him on for sure. Sorry, Mike, we forgot about you. If you were the GM of either the Sabres, the Red Wings, or Nashville, do you have any players on your team that are untouchable?
Well, the Nashville GM said Philip Forsberg. He went on radio and said there's no plans in the near future of ever trading him. So I guess that's your only one there.
I'm assuming the Sabres aren't getting rid of the young kid they just drafted. I don't know his name.
Eichel?
Jack, I actually heard the opposite. I heard that he's not in their long-term future. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Well, he's injured, so they can't even trade him until he gets uninjured. So until he gets back from that.
But and this is this is Elliot Freeman that was talking about it, so it's not me breaking news on here. He said that the injury is uncertain, meaning they don't know how long he's not going to play for, but they think that they're holding him out so that he doesn't get more injured, and they are unable to trade him. So they think that they could activate him at any point. They just want to get an offer for him first.
interesting. You know, Hall's going to be gone from there, so you're a pretty barren roster if you don't have Hall or Eichel.
It makes no sense, right? Like the Pagulas own that thing, and you can see the job that they're doing with the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense that they would go down a direction to let a guy like Eichel out of the building. I can see like if you want to get Eric Stahl out of the building, veteran guys out of the building, but Jack Eichel, give me a break.
Now for the Pens, is Crosby off the table?
Yeah, 100%. Never gonna get traded. Yeah, I mean
like he's gonna start and die there, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and
So Malkin, obviously.
And I guess I'll answer the question a little differently. I would be okay if they traded him in the sense that they would have to do it and they would have to have a rebuilding plan, and you got to get a couple of first round picks for him. I'm not tied to players as much as I am organizations, but there's no way, as long as Mario Lemieux has any kind of ownership stake in that place, that Sidney Crosby gets out of the building without him retiring.
Yeah.
Same with, I think, Malkin. Same with, I think, a guy like Chris Letang. Like, all those guys are going down with the ship. And actually, the Penguins have been pretty good recently. They've they
beat the hell out of the Rangers.
Yeah, and I mean, they continue to work their way up, and they're probably 4 points out of being the top team in that division right now. And that's a tough division. That being said, the Flyers stink, and they've started to fall apart. And they're also in a division with like teams like New Jersey and like other shitty teams like that. So there's probably only 5 half decent teams in that division, and the Flyers, in my opinion, are going to be the odd team out. But if it came down to it and the Penguins started to struggle, it wouldn't bother me if they traded Crosby as long as they got the right package back for him.
How old is he now?
I think he's like 33. Our age, like 30. Yeah. Is he younger than us?
He's 87. That's why he's in number 87. Yeah. He's 34 this year.
He's only 33 years old. All right.
Yeah. I never wore 85. I don't know.
If he wasn't producing, I can see maybe a potential trade, but that guy is still producing. Like, that goal he scored the other day against the Rangers was incredible.
Yeah, and he's just not. Yeah, I could never see him outside of another uniform, but if he did, I guess like probably, and it would make like the one thing that would make me sick is the team that I think he would go to the most is Montreal, because that was his team growing up.
Yeah,
sure. They have nothing to give for him though.
No, Kid Canada, going to Montreal.
Barf. But yeah, as far as the other team, like I think that the Red Wings have had kind of a tough go.
Do they even have anybody to trade? When you mentioned about them being like, yeah, I think they're just
not really.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I think like a team like Nashville, like the biggest piece that they would have had to move would have been Matt Duchene, and he's injured right now, so they can't move him anyway. So I'm sure that there's a few guys there that could move on from. I would start picking apart the Sabres, because I actually think that the Sabres have a pretty good roster. I'm not sure why they're so bad, but
because Taylor Hall. I mean, like, come on! I know he got the MVP with my team, but like, God, he's everywhere he's gone. He's just the teams have utterly underproduced.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with that. I probably should have written down the trade. I didn't write down the trade deadline, but those are 3 teams that I could see getting picked apart.
What have you been doing the last 2 weeks?
Oh, you didn't want to see the Devils getting picked apart. That's nice.
Well, you have to have
Palmieri's
some kind of. No, you have to have some kind of capital to get picked apart, and
Sammy Vatanen.
You guys
Sammy Vatanen's a good defender.
You scored the least amount of goals in the league.
Yeah. But Kyle Palmieri is a popular player. He's pretty good at his job. He's the only one.
Yeah, well, he's in New Jersey for a reason, so we'll just leave him there. I think
best guy on the short bus.
I wrote Kalen a message saying that we were going to talk about the Devils on the show, how they had a chance to make the playoffs. But that was all
I saw that in our group chat. And I was like, what the fuck have I missed?
Yeah.
So I literally went and looked them up, and I was like, nah, he's fucking with them.
It's funny, Chad, you and I both, because when I read it, I was like, what the hell did I miss? So I went and looked at some freaking things. Like maybe they had a really easy upcoming schedule. I didn't know maybe all the goalies they were playing against were all sick. No idea.
The whole league got the 1-9 except for the Devils.
They're fucking playing the Caps tonight. Good luck.
Yeah, they're probably getting stroked. But we're in March now, and you guys know what that means. That means March Madness. And I'm not sure what we're going to do, if we're going to have some kind of Yahoo pool or whatever. We're not going to do it for money, but maybe we can give away some sweaters. We'll organize something for people to submit a bracket to us, but we're going to get deeper into what the tournament looks like probably next week when they actually submit the bracket. But two things stood out to me as far as conference champions. So the first thing, the Baylor Bears won their first ever Big Ten title. I think that that's surprising.
Big 10 or Big 12? Are they in the Big 10?
Big 12, sorry. Big 12, sorry.
Yeah.
They've been in the Big 12 for about 70 years. Before that, they were in some other conference. I can't
The
remember.
last
but,
conference championship was in the 50s.
yeah.
I looked it up yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm surprised that a team like that hasn't won one. But if you look at the pedigree for who's winning the Big 12, it's all Kansas. Pretty much Kansas all the way across the board. So I was surprised to see that one. And anybody that's picking their brackets, be very surprised if Baylor is not in your Final Four. They lost one game all year. So
Yeah. And the team, like that school in general, football and basketball, they were like never really good. And then you had like RG3 that went through there and made the team pretty popular. And
well,
now Baylor.
They had some controversy on their football program that we're not going to get into on the show, but
No, that was post RG or pre RG?
I
Post,
think
Most.
I think
Well,
it came
I
out.
know they never stopped. They
Yeah.
started. Like, that's kind of good.
Yeah, like he wasn't there when they got caught, but I think that
He
you
was
know,
there when
whatever.
it was happening.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean. But
Mhm.
they were in some trouble. But
Waco, Texas.
yeah, the Big Ten's got a little bit of controversy right now. So
Talk to me.
I know that you guys probably watch about 0 Big Ten games a year, Chad, unless you're at my house and I put on the Michigan State game. But the Big Ten champion outright this year is technically Michigan. They finished 14-3.
How do you
Now-
feel about that?
Well, we beat Michigan on Sunday, so I don't really care.
We beat them
But
twice though this year.
we only beat
Is
them
it-
once.
No, I
Yeah,
bet them before. You guys beat them. You
That was
told me-
against Ohio State. But yeah, like
Oh,
they
whatever.
they beat 3 top 5 teams in 10 days. So like basically I cursed Michigan State on the show saying they're not going to make the tournament, and then they said hold my beer, and now they're definitely securely in the tournament. But
Did everybody
Uh,
else that you were saying wasn't
Duke-
going to make it?
Duke is on the bubble. Kansas has worked their way up to like a 3 or a 4 seed, and Kentucky's the only one that's not going to make it that I mentioned.
Okay.
And unless if they win their conference tournament, then they'll be in. So then we'd be 4 for 4.
Okay.
But it's unlikely that they'll do that. But with Michigan, they missed 3 weeks of basketball because they had the 1-9 run through their program. They had to get shut down for 3 weeks. Now there's a team, Illinois, Fighting Illini. They went 16-4, which is 2 more wins than what Michigan had. And there's also Iowa, who went 14-6, who had the same amount of wins as Michigan, 3 more losses. They obviously played more games. Now, the outright regular season title was given to Michigan based on winning percentage. How do you guys feel about that?
You know how I feel about it. This is going back to the same thing as football, man. You got to play the games to get it. And if Illinois had a better record, I think they deserve it.
I agree,
Well,
and they had a better record because they played more games and they were able to fulfill their season. Like, why penalize a team for not getting themselves into a tough situation?
Also, fuck Michigan.
Yeah, well, that's the number one. And I think I sent you guys that picture on Sunday morning, and
Yeah.
I sat here and I watched every second of Michigan State senior day, and the unfortunate thing is we just didn't really have any like good seniors, but the sophomores took over the game.
Still won.
Yeah, hey, we won. That secured our tournament bid. How you doing? Keep it moving, kind of thing.
If you don't play enough games and you win, that's a joke. It's the same thing that happened with Ohio State. I still think Ohio State should win the national championship game.
Mhm.
If you don't play the games and you don't hit the requirements, then how do you win?
Right.
And to go off in the year that we're in, maybe if they went 14-0, maybe it's a different story. But you still lost 3 games.
You know what the kicker of the whole thing is?
They're getting
They
a 1
lost. They lost to Illinois last week by 20 points.
And they still got it?
So
Who's Michigan's president? He's got to be friends with somebody. He's clearly golfing
The-
buddies with somebody.
the Big Ten has the worst tiebreakers. So they obviously went by winning percentage, but if it went to them having the same record, they would have just sided with whatever the AP poll was.
Not head to head.
Like, yeah, where
Not
the hell
head-to-head.
is what's the point of a head to head? That's so dumb.
Yeah.
Might as well not even count your own games.
It's stupid, but the other thing that I didn't even talk to you guys about this, but I know you guys weren't watching the Houston Memphis game on Sunday, but I'll break the game down really quickly for you. It was back and forth, with like 5 seconds left. Memphis drops a 3 to tie the game to take it into overtime. Basically, Memphis needed to win that game to get into the tournament. Half court inbound play. Houston throws it up, bank shot in. Memphis is out.
They lost to a bank. Do you think he yelled it in air too? Bank.
He did. No, he did. He said he yelled game.
Oh, he
Go look
yelled
at-
game.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
better.
yeah. Go look it up after. The Houston Cougars kid yells game, and yeah, because it's an empty arena, you can hear all of it. It was pretty crazy, but that was the start of March Madness for me. That was about 12 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, and then I just watched a little bit of college ball throughout the course of the day there. But it's good to see that the tournament's actually going to happen this year. We missed it last year, but the other thing I was watching on Sunday was a little bit of PGA Tour.
Mm-hmm.
How you guys feeling about Bryson DeChambeau?
Dude, that guy hits bombs.
Yeah,
I've always
That's
liked him.
that thing you sent me, Chad, was unreal.
Yes.
Yeah. As
That was
somebody
like
who
a guy that I went to high school with, just screenshot it, then wrote his own caption. Like that wasn't from a website. His name's Daryl Putzer. Hopefully he follows. I don't even know if he does. But yeah, that was his caption, but it's so true. Like when you're the fourth guy in the scramble turn, you just hit the bomb. Like that was it.
Yeah, unreal. And then his reaction when he won the thing, like on a putt, that guy, he was excited to have fans back watching him. 100%. Like that guy he's a superstar, and he performs way better under the pressure of having a couple of people watch him play.
He had a
I
rough
know.
start too, though. Like he did not start the round good. Like he almost went out of bounds on the first tee,
Yeah,
and then he duffed his second shot, scrambled to get a bogey, and then I think he went 2 over on the first 3, and he still came back to win. Sorry,
yeah.
like,
That
but yeah,
guy was unreal.
they
I
keep
think
saying they need to make golf courses shorter to make them
Yeah.
like more fun or more difficult. Sorry, because all these long ball hitters, but I don't want to see guys lay up.
No,
It's the same thing with baseball. Like I want to see home runs. I want to see bombs. And if a guy's hit the ball 380 yards into the fairway, that's the shit I want to see.
it takes a lot for me to like jump out of my chair watching golf, but when he went over the lake,
Again,
I
he did
and
the
I-
second day too.
yeah, I didn't even have money on him. I had money on Hutton, which is that guy's his own piece of shit. But he, I told you guys, like the first round he really let me down, and then the next 2 days he got back into it. Sunday morning I text you guys, he's in the top 11. All I needed him to do was finish in the top 5, and he scumbagged me. He went for a +6. So
Mhm.
that guy's a piece of shit in my mind, and I will bet against him every single round that he plays in.
He's a new Tom Wilson of golf.
Yeah, that guy, what a dirtball.
Have you paid attention to Bryson's career at all, like from the beginning to like where it is right now?
Well, I know that recently he got on a different workout plan.
Well, yeah, he definitely buffed up. But like, you mentioned that him playing better in front of fans. Like I think that he's put in a lot of work. Like the guy historically, he was a very quiet guy. He was always about the science and the methodical approach to the game. And people complain about how long he took because he was so methodical. But he's put on some pounds. He lifted some weight, and now knows how to swing a club a little bit harder. And I think that he's ready to show the world what he can really bring to the game. I absolutely love his swing. I know that you guys. I don't know if you guys like his swing or not, or you even paid attention to it or not. But it's the single plane swing that's just like Mo Norman. That's another golfer an old golfer that I really, really loved growing up and watching. So it's neat to see that it's come back. And I don't know if you guys know this or not too, but you know that every one of his clubs are the 7-iron length.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I do now.
Yeah, that leads into his methodical, scientific, single plane stroke approach. So that's, I mean, it would probably sound boring, but go and watch what a single plane stroke it looks like, and it's pretty interesting compared to somebody like Dustin Johnson, or Jim Furyk, who has the octopus falling out of the tree. That's what people describe the way he sounds or swings the club. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, when it comes to a single plane stroke, I'll definitely take your word on it because I know that you're the expert. The we got the Players Championship coming up this weekend. We might pick some guys on the weekend. Like I haven't actually looked yet, so check out for our Instagram. We'll probably.
I
pick
don't
somebody
think
to win.
Tiger's gonna win.
Oh, Chad, you had to go there.
Yeah.
My God, man.
Chad, that's awful.
Jesus.
Well, let's go for some better news. So we'll go for some lighter news. The MLB is gonna have fans at every single game, like every stadium. It's approved. Like everyone's good. How do you guys feel about it? Like if we could get there,
100%
would you go to the game?
or like 20?
No, it's not 100%. I think it's anywhere from like 15 to like 25%.
So like in the case of Tampa Bay and Miami, they're just having normal Tuesday or
Well, I was
Exactly.
gonna say, Shane, I know that this might hurt a little bit, but this might be normal attendance for every single team, anyways. It is. It's only about like
Outside
5
of the
teams that actually
Dodgers,
sell out teams. Yeah.
the Dodgers, Red Sox, and Yankees. Outside of those guys,
Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the poor Jays. What are they gonna do?
they're gonna cram fans into Dunedin, and then they're gonna cram fans into Buffalo.
Oh God.
That's their thing. I mean, they think that they're gonna be able to get themselves back to Toronto by the summer, because the border might be open, but they're not gonna go back to Rogers Center if they can't have fans in there. So
how are the Padres going to be able to afford their infield with no fans?
yeah, I don't know. I bet you there's like NASCAR sponsors on every base. Yeah, those guys spent some money over the last 2 years, and
Coach, we're Ducks. Why does it say Hendricks on it? Charlie, we have to.
It's really
reference.
funny, Shane, like as I've gotten into more sports and seeing the fan bases in different sports, it's crazy how much money is still somehow thrown around in baseball. And I honestly just don't think that there's the fans there that are buying up the memorabilia to create the salaries for these guys. Explain it to me, Shane. How the hell are these teams able to afford these rosters paying $20 million to a fucking pitcher when they've only got 2,000 fans in the stands?
It's baseball it's international, but that's not the real reason. Every team has their own individual TV deal. So, like the Blue Jays work with Rogers, but if you were the Padres, I'm sure that they have their own thing with Fox. So Fox will broadcast every single Padres game under Fox Padres, and the Padres are the only team that benefit from that. Like they own the rights to all their home games. Whereas something like the NFL, they sell the package. So everyone kind of gets an equal piece. And that's why a team like the Blue Jays, for us, the Blue Jays have money to spend because we've all seen our cell phone bills. We know how much Rogers makes.
Yeah.
A team like the Tampa Bay Rays, they probably don't have as much money, and guess what? That's probably why they don't spend it. But the Fox Rays probably don't pay the same way that the San Diego Padres would. If you watch a Padres game, if the Padres are good, there's a good following of baseball in California. If the Devil Rays are good,
no one gives a fuck.
There's no one there. Like, have you guys ever been to that stadium?
No.
What an embarrassment.
It's pretty haggard from what I understand, right?
Yeah. It's imagine like the Rogers Center, but dropped in the middle of Tampa, Florida. Why would you have a concrete fucking stadium with a roof in the middle of Florida? Makes no sense.
Dumb.
At least the Rogers Center, you could open the fucking roof and get some humidity banging off the grass. At this place, you hit a ball high enough and no one can see it. But yeah.
And for a while there, wasn't it hitting something like the rafters or something that used to always hit it?
Yeah, and
the only thing I know
it took them like 8 years to fix it.
Was that in center field they had a separate patch at one point because the carpet got ripped up or something. So or a logo was there, so they had a separate colored patch in center field.
Is it still called Tropicana Field?
Yeah.
Oh my
But-
God! It sounds even old, man.
The thing for that too is it's kind of away from downtown Tampa. It's a hike to get to. It's a pain in the ass to get to, and it's more likely that a team like Tampa Bay is gonna move to a different city than the city of Tampa Bay is gonna build them a new stadium. Because you know who the team is in Tampa Bay? The
I do.
Yankees. The Yankees. Well, it's right beside the Ray J. You know that. The AAA stadium for the Yankees is right in the heart of Tampa Bay downtown. As you're walking up to your seat at the Ray J, you look out and there's Tampa Bay's version of Yankee Stadium. It's a mini Yankee Stadium built for their farm system.
Jeez.
It's pretty epic. I was
That's such a
surprised when I
slap
went
in
there.
the face, though. Like, hey,
It's a good
wanna
thing
be
that
the
teams don't
second-best
share farm
baseball
system
team
teams.
in Tampa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the one more quick thing that we wanted to talk about. I'll let you take us away with this one, Kalen, because I don't know a lot about it. But the Brooklyn Nets are making some moves here, and
Oh
it's
my God.
it seems like they're making can they actually compete with the teams like the Lakers or I don't know the Clippers? I mean I watched the Jazz. And I think the Jazz have a good shot, but the second that someone plays a little bit of press defense against a team like the Jazz, they're going to disappear.
There's a lot of chefs in Brooklyn. Blake Griffin being there isn't going to be anything for the offense, I don't think, but that is going to bring some defense to the team. There is so much in Brooklyn right now that you talk about who they can compete with. I don't think there's anybody in the East that can compete with them, as much as I hate to say it. And in the West, there's outside of Utah and the Lakers, there's nobody. I don't trust the Clippers. I talked to you about that before coming on. There's just nobody else out there that is even Portland, as much as that hurts me to say too, because I love Damian Lillard. There's nobody there that can compete besides the Lakers and Utah. But I still think that it's Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn's got it this year, man. They bought themselves a championship. Good form. They traded enough players and fixed a way to make it happen. Everybody so far has been kosher and happy. See if you can keep it up. If that Andre Drummond thing is actually going to happen, Shane, that there's nothing else that can stop them. I'm sorry, an Anthony Davis and LeBron James led team, you have to have more than just that to stop a team like that in Brooklyn. So,
Wow. We'll see if somebody picks up what's his face, Kyle Lowry from the Raptors. But I think we put everyone to sleep talking about the NBA. So
Stop.
we're gonna finish up, and no one cares about this part of the NBA. Like the playoffs, we'll talk about, but at this point, who gives a shit, right? Chad, are you with me?
I was there like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
sports.
Anyway, make sure that you guys are subscribing to our YouTube channel, and if you like it or you don't like it anyway, because why not? And shout out to the Boggin for helping us out today. They provided us with a couple of cold beers, and now that place is open. Make sure you go check it out, and we'll see you guys next time. And cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers.
boys.